Yeah, but I look at investment not as an investment sake for owning some piece of stock and how much would that stock will be. That's not the measurement I look at. I look at the company and say, if I would like to own the whole company, what is the value of this company 10 years from now, 5 years from now? Instead of looking at the stock price of today and just 3 months later, because the market psychology and so on is too difficult to read.
True.
Instead of reading the market psychology, I look at the true value of the whole company. And if we can acquire the whole company.
We have to ask him how to Sony for the future.
Maybe we don't want to know the answer.
Well, you're going to grow big.
Going back to the subject of the regulation, government regulation. Scott, do you feel any regulation in the United States that you mean government?
Well, there's one area that I think is a real big issue, and that's regulation on encryption.
Encryption.
As people go out on the internet, they want to be safe. They want to know that their data, their medical information, their financial information, their digital cash is safe. And the way to do that is it's actually easier to keep it safe than in the physical world. In the physical world, you got to have armored cars and people with guns and safes and locks and doors and all the rest of it. In the information world, you can encrypt it completely safely because we have the technology to go do that. But the governments around the world are getting in the way of that because they believe that encryption is used by bad guys to keep away from the police. I believe encryption is to protect good people from the bad guys. And so there's two different philosophies.
Yes.
My philosophy is let the people who can't afford a car, can't afford to leave their job to go get school, can't afford to go to the store or whatever, let them safely communicate out over the internet with encryption. And the government is let's not let anybody do it safely. And we'll protect the good people from the bad guys by getting the bad guys. It's two different philosophies, and it's a very difficult problem. But that's probably the biggest area of regulation. The other one is telecommunications deregulation, and that is the lower the communication costs, the better.
Well, I'm suggesting to Japan, saying that, well, let's make internet usage, the optical fiber and XDSL usage for free of charge for the next 10 years for the entire Japan. Then Japan might be able to decrease the gap between US and Japan.
That would be very powerful.
Yeah.
But who pays the infrastructure cost then?
Well, the government can subsidize and give interest-free loan for 10 years. And from the 11th year, they can just charge just a global rate. The same rate as
Global
US.
and competitive rate.
Yeah, competitive, global competitive rate. So from the 11th year, they can make all the money back. But even if you don't make the money back, look at the industrial society today. The highway system is free of charge. And
But in Japan, we have to pay.
I'm not talking about the high-speed highway.
Oh, okay.
The regular road. Regular street.
Right.
Regular street, if they have charged every 100 meter, $1 or something, people will never buy automobile.
That's true.
The gas station will not be opened. The shopping center and so on never prosper. But because it is free infrastructure for everybody to use, the entire industry grow up. So I say,
your vision is to provide infrastructure free of charge for everybody in Japan.
And that will create entire Japan into the new stage. And everybody prosper. And the cost of optical fiber to deploy is only, $30 billion, $50 billion. It's very cheap. The cost of providing highway for automobile is 100 times, 1,000 times more costly. So I think Japanese highway is already enough, cut down and give only 10%, 20% of that budget to optical fiber.
How do you think his dream?
Well, there's two ways to go at it, and that's one way. Another issue that I don't think is exclusive of what Son-san is saying is the government needs to put laws and regulations on the books. If you read my mail in the United States, you go into my mailbox, it's a felony. What happens if you read my electronic mail? Who knows? Right? It's not clear. So we need better and clear laws about that sort of thing. Second issue is assume we have the internet and a PC in every classroom or a Java station in every classroom. You know what? That doesn't matter. It doesn't help. It's like putting a television or a phone in every classroom. If there's no curriculum, network-based, computerized, interactive curriculum. So what I think,
navigation. Educational navigation.
Just sending people out on the internet is not going to make them more intelligent.
No, unless you have a specific interest.
Right.
Or the infrastructure or internet doesn't make.
But
any
even
use.
then, you don't have editors. You don't have any real guarantee of what is that good stuff out there. So I've been encouraging our government to create educational standards. What does it mean to be in the first grade? What does it mean to be in the second grade? By math, history, geography, whatever. And then create curriculum online, and I say Java-based because then you can run it on any piece of hardware. Create a Java application that would run on any computer on the planet, that if a third grader took this, online math class and passed it, then they should be able to pass the third grade achievement test, national achievement test, which is also available out on the network.
But do you think education is the responsibility, system of education is the responsibility of the government or the community, or who is responsible? Starting from elementary school. Then.
I think that it should be a local issue, but that the federal government could do things like setting standards and providing free curriculum. Because the problem is software developers don't want to go create educational software. The reason is schools have no money. And so you don't have the economic motivation. So they all develop ERP applications to run large businesses because large businesses have money and will spend money on software.
What is ERP?
It's basically accounting and manufacturing software. So the opportunity here is for the government to fund the development of the educational software because the business will just not do it naturally.
True.
Education is really key. The thing is, the mankind society moved from into three stages. The first one was agricultural society, the industrial society is the second, and then information society as a third stage. Still education, especially for Japan, most of the contents of the education is regarding about in the agricultural society and industrial society. No contents.
You mean contents for the education?
For the educational contents. No contents really about information society. That's really
how about in the United States? The same?
It's probably worse.
Well, U.S. is better. U.S. is better.
In places.
And higher education, I think.
I think in the U.S., there's a broader disparity.
School.
There's a broader disparity. The very bad is very bad, and the very good is very good. It's just a wider bell curve.
But I'm saying that if the national exam for the college entrance had information industry, information technology related subject in the question
as an examination,
as an examination subject, then suddenly
parents encourage too.
Parents suddenly start encouraging using PC and internet.
That is the role of the federal government, is to, we call it a bully pulpit, a chance to stand up and lead, not dictate or mandate or regulate, but rather lead by showing the world the right answer.
So one thing is the school, the one is the regulation.
Yeah, the infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
That's the third one. I just say free infrastructure.
Scott, how often do you visit Japan?
Oh, I've probably come 2 to 3 times a year for the last 15 years.
I am a chairman of new venture committee of the Keidanren. We invited him to have a kind of discussion. That's I think you found out some kind of cultural gap of the Japanese management of the American.
I think it's definitely a
Yeah,
very
so
different
this is
style,
yeah,
very different
style.
structure. I think it starts all the way up with the laws of the country and the bylaws and how companies incorporate.
I found even more fundamental reason. I was also wondering why Japanese culture and U.S. culture are very different. I found very interesting, very big issue. Okay.
Let's talk about this
Yeah.
issue for 10 minutes then.
I found that in a science magazine called Newton.
Yes, Newton in Japan,
magazine.
you mean.
Yeah, it's a respected science magazine, and that says in two most advanced laboratory in the United States and Israel found out almost simultaneously the DNA of human. There are two kinds of DNA. One is L type. The other is S type. L stands for long. S stands for short. The long DNA, it's a bunch of information in the DNA, right? Long type DNA is aggressive, positive, creative, not very precise, not accountable, crazy.
Why do you look at me when you say that?
A little crazy guy, right? And S type is very accountable, very conservative, very safe, very so on.
Disciplined.
Very nervous, disciplined and nervous. And the distribution of those L type and S type by nationalities, Japanese, American, European, Chinese, and so on, is a very different result. The Japanese and American is one totally opposite side, and the rest of the nations in between. In the U.S., about 1/3, 30% of them is L only positive thinking only, 30%. 50% is L and S together. The 20% is S only, conservative only, 20%. 50% is balanced. Japan, L only, positive only is 1.8%.
Is this true?
Yes, it is true. Absolutely true. By two different laboratories, only 1.8% is positive thinking guy.
Oh, yes.
L type.
L type.
And 70% is S only. Can you believe? So 70% of Japanese, by their DNA, cannot accept
The change,
any crazy thinking or creative thinking, and they just want to preserve. It's an issue. And in order to change DNA mix, it takes 30 generations, which is 1,000 years.
That means
the next millennium.
Do you encourage international marriage between Americans and Japanese? We just cannot wait.
And the reason why U.S. American became like that is because only those positive thinking crazy guys immigrated
I see, from Europe.
from Europe and all over the world. Only those creative.
Okay, then I have a question. When at the same period of time, those went to America. The other party went to Brazil. Why only America made a success, not in Brazil?
Well, Brasilia is not necessarily conservative. I don't know.
No, I mean.
Well, anyway, the key is even in the United States, those crazy guys kept on going to West Coast, not staying.
So we got the craziest ones on the West Coast? Is that
The craziest guy at the Silicon
so
Valley.
your DNA is L type or S type?
I don't know. I'm very well balanced.
I don't believe it. You are L type.
L squared, right?
I think Japanese government, the people, they are very SS type. But anyway.
That means by election. That means Japanese enhance more S type than by electing it.
The only help is that DNA affect only 50% of the outcome.
Oh, I see.
So the other 50% is by the education, by the environment, and so on. So even if you are twin, by the environment and education, 50% get affected, after you are born.
Well, this is the great nature versus nurture. Is it nature that makes us the way we are, or nurture the way? And I think it's probably always going to be some of both.
Yeah.
But I think what is interesting is that the U.S. and Japan are very different, but I think have very interestingly complementary skills.
Yeah.
Oh, I think so.
And I think what everybody has discovered over the last 20 to 25 years is that the two economies are quite linked. The businesses are quite linked.
Yes.
And I know that we are absolutely mutually dependent on Japanese companies.
You're very diplomatic.
Yeah, well.
Well, I think that the L type or S type, I'm not saying which is better or worse. It's just different.
Right. But in case of a company, I mean, if it's a nation, you cannot mix the blood. But if it's a company, a private company, I think Sony is a good combination of the New York-based music company,
right,
and Hollywood-based picture company,
yes,
and also Tokyo-based electronic company. But
the government cannot change the people, but the company
can do that.
As you say, can have all kinds of mix without regulation. Hopefully,
that's a difficult job. How to, control such kind of,
Well, I think Sony is lucky because Sony has a CEO who is very well balanced on both sides.
And I'm diplomatic. Listen to you.
Because I say that the most 95% of the Japanese big companies, the CEO very, very conservative. Very, very conservative.
I am very conservative.
You are balanced. I think you are definitely different from the typical Japanese CEOs.
That's the conclusion of that. No, I think Sonsan is also very much different from Japanese.
Yeah.
But
I
Scott,
think
are you different from of the average Americans, or how do you?
I think people, when they look in the mirror, see less than anybody else sees when they look at someone. So for me to look in the mirror and tell you...
For example, then, if you compare yourself with Jack Welch, is it very much different?
He's a little better golfer than I am. I played him last year and he beat me. So.
When I met Jack Welch on month of November, he talked about the match between Scott McNeely versus Jack Welch, but the strategy of Jack Welch, as he living at the West Coast, and he suggested to play in the Boston, I think, area.
It was in Nantucket, right?
In Nantucket. So he had a handicap because of the difference of a time zone.
He also played on his home courses.
That's right, the home course.
And he also played in late August, where he had played 36 holes a day every day for the entire month of August.
Oh, so really?
He is. He's been very successful for a good reason. He's very strategic.
Yeah, he's a very smart person.
Yeah, he is, yes.
Yeah.
But there's a difference of the age, more than 20, I think, between Jack and...
I'm 44. I think he's
64.
Is he 64?
64.
I hope I'm playing as well at 64.
Next time, you better to invite him to San Diego.
That's what I'm going to do. Maybe to Hawaii. Really get him off the game.
Well, next year is Sony Open.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank
Scott
you.
and Son-san. It was a very good discussion. I hope we enjoy golf this afternoon.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
And we should win tomorrow.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah, we are a team.
Yeah, Sony Brown. Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Cameraman. So.
やっぱり3人っていうのは話が難しいね。だからやっぱり対談ってのは2人が楽だな。だからもうすぐ突っ込みたいと思うとこっちにバランス取んなきゃいけなくなるからね。だから結構なんて全体から見れば面白い対談になったと思いますよ。